How you doing, guys? I'm making for a friend of mine one of these sparkles. Well, Jacob's ladder, it's called. Let me turn it on so you can see that it works. Anyway, I needed to make this battery pack, and I saw somewhere on the internet this item here, and I just thought, well, I can make that myself instead of paying $50 or $60 or whatever they wanted for it. And so I decided to make it. So, how do you make one of these? Well, you basically, all the pieces going to look like this. Okay. On this hand, on this side, you're going to have a bolt with a wing nut and a big washer. Okay. And the other end goes inside of wood, and it's you can do it two different ways. You can buy these bolts that have on one side a regular thread, and then the other end is a wood thread. But what I did is I drilled a hole. I just used a rod that's a threaded rod and cut them about that long, okay? And then I drilled a hole and tapped it and then screwed in this bolt, I'm sorry, this threaded rod. And then I have these on hand, these wing nuts, and I happen to have nice big washers as well. So if you want to know the measurements of this, let me go get the tape measure. So the longer pieces, which is this piece and this piece, are about 7.5 inches long, and they are about 2.5 inches high. And I used a 3/4 wood. Then what I did is I have a router table, so I cut myself a slot, and the slot just has to be big enough for the bolt or the threaded rod to go inside freely. Don't make it too big, but also don't make it tight. Okay, you want to have just a little bit of play. Okay. Now, as you can see, I have a shorter piece over here, and same is over here. And the reason I did that is because sometimes I'm making like a 10 pack, like this battery pack here, and it was just too long. So I made me shorter pieces, and if you want to copy the shorter piece, then have all the measurements are same, and it's 4.25 inch long, but you can make it shorter or a little bit longer, up to whatever you think you're going to need this jig to put the batteries in. Let me go grab batteries, and I'll show you how it works. So I recycle, as you guys know probably by now, I recycle laptop batteries, and here's a handful of them. Okay, and I also use a little foam like this, so I can squeeze the batteries, and then I can flip it and solder it on the other side. So you scatter the batteries, uh, uh, plus one side, next to it's going to be minus, next going to be plus, and the next one's going to be a minus. So now I have 4 batteries in there, and then this one will return. So there's going to be a plus on this side and minus on this side. And plus on the top and minus on the top. So now once you put these batteries in, then you squeeze all this and then tighten up the wing nuts on the side. So now all the batteries will not come loose. So after I solder wires where it goes, this wire goes to here, and then this wire goes from here to here, and then this one to here, and this one to there. And then you flip it over, and as you can see, it doesn't come loose. And then you do the other side. So basically, it's a they're put together in series. Okay, not parallel, but in series. So because I wanted to create 32 volts, and so 4 volts basically each battery is charged 4.2 volts, but it's usually counted as 3.7 volts because that's the optimal. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. But anyway, these are all recycled from old laptop batteries. And there's a trick that I do is that if you buy one of these batteries, you can spend $7, $8, $10 per shipping. What I do is I actually order a good laptop battery. It doesn't matter really what laptop battery it is. I look for how many batteries are in it. The little skinny ones, there's only 3 batteries. And so get the nice fat one or the extended one. And they go for like $20 or $30 the most. And so you'll have probably 12 batteries or up to 18. And so that the cost of one of these batteries is lower. But anybody who has a store, a computer store, they have to recycle these batteries. And so if you just go there and make friends, they'll give you these batteries for free. Uh, and so what I would do is then open them up just like I always do and make I think I got off of the screen. Uh, what I do is I have a little uh, computer store up the street from me, and I know the owner, and I go there time to time, and I get old batteries. And what happens with those batteries is some of them might be pretty bad to use, pretty well used up, but most of them are not. And sometimes only one of the batteries or two go bad, and then they drag down the other batteries. And so what I did is I bought a recharger or a charger for 18650 batteries. That's what these are, 18 millimeters across and 650 millimeters long. So that's why it's called 18650. Anyway, and what I do is I salvage the batteries, I charge them, and then I look at the charger and see what kind of uh, uh, voltages I get. And if I get over 4 volts after it's charged, then I put them aside for a couple 3 weeks. And if I measure it again and there are 4 volts or more, then that's a keeper. If they die or if they are down at like below 3.7 volts, basically they are completely dead after you charge them, and they don't go any higher than they are dead. Many batteries, you'll find out in the battery pack there's going to be one that it's dead. And once you get them out uh, and then pull off the little tabs that they are connected with, which is a little strip, then uh, you need to clean up the little uh, metal pieces comes out when you rip it off with pliers, and and so there's this little metal pieces sticking out very sharp. So what I do is I use the back side of my cutter, like this side here, to scrape off so it becomes a little smoother. Okay, don't use a file because you're going to start catching on the edge, and on the bottom, on the negative side, that's not a big deal. But on here, this shell goes up to the edge here, and if you shorten these two, that can blow up the battery. So be very, very careful. By the way, only assemble these battery packs if you know what you're doing. I don't take any responsibility if you are, doing it the wrong way. Also, one other thing is that when you solder these wires, uh, uh, shorten them this way and then this way and this way, not shorten, but put them in series. Uh, if you use soldering iron like I did, you don't want to overheat these. And so when you use a soldering iron, let me grab one. I use this TS100, by the way, uh, It's a really really good soldering iron, and I have the original fatter tip. Then what I do is I rub this on the same spot while I'm adding solder, and then it creates a little puddle, and that's good enough. Then get off, and don't do it too long. So I always load up the tip with lead, with soldering material, and then I rub it, and then I keep adding the the soldering. Here we go. So this is a very very thin. I like this very thin stuff, and and so as you have a little blob, then you go like this, and then you keep pushing this new solder into here, under basically almost like underneath the tip. Then it gets the flux there, and after a few seconds, there should be a little blob of uh, solder. So and then I do this one, and then I take a piece of wire, strip it, and then pre-tin it, and then I connect these two together like that. Now, these batteries, just for your own information, these batteries are very powerful. They can supply easily 10 amps and and higher even. But be very careful because, as I said, if you shorten it, you're gonna have a you're gonna have fire in your hands and can blow up, and they overheat, and then they create their own oxygen and they burn, and you cannot put it out with water or anything. So be very careful when you solder. It's recommended not to use solder, but to use in basically a welder, which is made to put these strips on. But I have a couple of them. I even built one, large one, and I don't have very good experience with it, so I just solder it with a piece of wire and on both sides, and I put the lead like this. And I take a electrical tape, and then I tape it this way. And the way I do that is I loosen up this in here, and then I loosen up this nut in here, and then I push the batteries from bottom up a little bit. So I have like that much out, and then I tighten back the screws. I mean the wing nuts, okay. And then I want to make sure that I have the batteries level, and then I take a electrical tape, and then I tape it. While you're taping it, they want to move on you and want to go up or down, and so be careful when you do that so they stay all flat, okay. And then afterwards, once you have this side down, then you can push it the other way, uh, and then like this. In other words, you want to have at this point you're gonna have all these batteries sticking out like that, and then tape it again, and then release these, and then take the whole battery out, the battery pack, and then do this way, very very tight, nice and tight, turns, and cover it with 2 layers, and then I cover it with 2 or 3 layers in this direction. Oops, I was off the camera. I apologize. So I start taping the battery this way, and then I do the top like I showed you, and then I tape it 2 layers, so the batteries hold nicely together. And while you're doing it, they want to kind of like dance around and so on. So be careful. Make sure that they stay next to each other, not crooked. Not like this one in being over there and this one hanging out. Anyway, so so then once I have the batteries wrapped in this way, then I start wrapping them at least 2 or 3 layers this way. And the reason I do 2 or 3 layers is because this is where it's soldered, here and here, of course. And so what happens is that over a period of time as you put the battery down somewhere. You don't want that wear out, or if you start seeing like a piece sticking out or something, then just take electrical tape and give it a couple, three layers, and then it's pretty solid. It's not moving anywhere, and it works. You know, the Jacob's ladder, as you can see. So, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and I'll try to respond as soon as I can. Well, I guess that's it about the battery holder, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much.